Good morning.
Oh, does it have to be morning?
Hello, Tess. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, I'm here.
Looks like a lot of people are going without video today. I wonder why. It's
Yeah, I don't know why.
quarantine here.
Yeah, the video's quarantined. Oh, well.
I think you have to turn on your video. There should be a link at the very picture icon at the lower side of the screen. When you hover over the bottom of it, it says mute and start or stop video. And if it has the line through it, you need to wind up clicking on it to make sure you have your video. And if it says, if it's got a microphone, red microphone with a slash through it at the bottom of your picture, then your mic is muted. So you will want to unmute if you want to talk.
I've unmuted the mic, but then I clicked on the video and that's obviously not working.
Can you see us, Charles?
Yeah, I can see you, but where the picture should be, it just says Charles.
Down at the bottom, it says video down there. There's a little arrow to the side of it.
Yeah, I got that. Let me
Okay,
click. I did click on it once. Let me click on it again. It says Zoom is unable to detect a camera.
Go to your video settings. When you do that, it probably will wind up having something over here. You can select the camera that you need to use.
All right. Okay. Go ahead. Anyway, Daniel, go ahead with the meeting. I don't want to hold everybody up. I'll figure this out later. You know what I look like anyway. Probably don't care to look at me anyway.
Yeah, Charles, one of the things that you can do when you first join a Zoom meeting is you can actually do it before the time for it to start. And if you do that, it won't connect, but it'll give you a chance to test your audio. And there's also a video setting up there as well. So you can actually test to see whether or not your camera is working as well as your microphone.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, everybody. This is better crowd than last time, so I'm happy for that. And there was a couple of people working today too, so they won't be able to attend. Don't really have an agenda for today. Wanted to see what everybody did for field day. I got all of 150 points working as a 1 Delta station, so that was fun. I don't think I've ever got that few points just based on bonus points, but it's kind of hard to get bonus points when you're a Delta. Couple of notes. Basically, all of the Hamfests I know about are canceled. If anybody knows any that are actually still going on, let me know and I'll advertise them.
There is one, Daniel, there is one in Savannah on the 3rd Saturday in October. And that is held at the Savannah Hilton Head Airport. It's not a big ham fest, but it's a ham fest. And I did verify this past week that it is still on. So that's the 3rd Saturday in October at the airport, the Savannah International Airport, also known as the Hilton Head Airport.
Okay. I'll make a note of that and be sure to include it in the next couple of newsletters. I know we all have some stuff we could probably get rid of if we wanted to, but I was talking with Paul, KC4YAP's wife, the other day, and she was talking about his hoarding problem. I let her know that that is typical for all ham radio people, not just him. But he left a lot of stuff behind that, and I'm helping her go through all that and all that good stuff. But And most of it's junk. I'm sure most people would say that about mine too, but it's still a little heartbreaking to have to think about. Any other announcements? I think we all pretty well know each other, this small little crowd. If not, we have the convenient feature of having name tags, which I like because I'm horrible with names. So any other announcements besides the Savannah Hamfest?
Just like to say hello to Gary, and I see Tim was here and dropped out, and so hopefully he will be back on in a second.
Yeah, hopefully so. I noticed that. It looked like he was having some problems with backlighting or something he was trying to take care of, so we'll see. Speaking of backlighting, Herb, you're particularly glowing this morning, which is a little terrifying for those of us who know you.
Yes, but remember, I've always been a star.
Oh, good grief. Some things change online and some things don't. So what did everybody do for field day? Did anybody else operate from home, or no? Paul, whose last name I cannot say, Paul Byrne on Facebook, went up to the Putnam group and participated with them. But anybody else participate from home or anything?
Yes, I did. I made around 350 QSOs, of which all of them but 2 were on CW. And so CW contacts count as 2 points versus 1 for voice. So anyway, I made a few points. I really didn't spend a whole lot of time at it. I got on for a little while Saturday night and a little while Sunday morning. So that was it. I didn't contribute much.
Well, I had the intention of being able to get on and had everything right and was going to operate 1E, had the batteries all set up and everything was great. But the Friday, I ended up having some computer issues that took precedence over operating field day. And the few minutes that I actually had to try to work field day, I got on and I was so exhausted. I said, you know, if I get on here, I'm not going to enjoy it. So I just got off of it. So I didn't even work it. But that was just circumstances. You know, that's the way it goes sometimes.
One thing I noticed was all of the Delta stations, since we're operating from home instead of the field, so it's just like my Donnie. All of the home stations had their amplifiers cranked way up. So since I'm operating barefoot, I couldn't get through a lot of the pilots. I got some, but then I remembered that FT8 was good for field day now, so I got a lot more with that. And plus, I can operate FT8 using a remote desktop from the living room with the rest of the family instead of being locked away in my shack. So that's kind of fun. Anything else about field day?
We were traveling. We went out west. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we traveled out west, and you know, it was one of those deals. I answered one guy's call on 2 meters in the car, and you know, he advised me. He's like, answer other calls, but there was no other calls. So I missed it. Next time.
All right. Is anybody planning on doing Route 66? I know this was the first year since I have been a general and could do it that I did not do anything for 13 colonies, but we are house sitting at a place with a pool, so I really didn't mind not participating. I was in the water as much as possible. So that was a nice change up. And with as hot as it's been, it's very nice having water. So there's always that.
Yeah, Daniel, in these strange days, you've got to do whatever you can to keep your spirits up and your body up and everything else, because it's not fun out there at this particular point. So
No, it is definitely not fun. I have my own comforting rituals, I guess you would call it. And to be honest, they're not working anymore. I've been dealing with quite a bit of anxiety. I'm currently quarantined because I'm having a medical procedure Monday morning. And they've already run the COVID test. It's negative. But they want to make sure I don't catch it between when I had the test Thursday and the procedure Monday. It's kind of hard to wear a mask when they're doing a upper endoscopy. So the mouth access is kind of required. So that'll be fun. It's better than a full test, but anyway, that's what I've had going on here lately.
Well, best wishes to you, Danielle. And hello to Wayne and Tim.
And Father David, I think, just came on, but is muted. Ah, there he is.
Yes.
Hello, David.
he's muted. David, you're muted.
That might be, you might wish I'd stayed muted. Good morning. I tried.
You're not bad if you don't talk that much.
I tried coming in earlier, but my it wouldn't work on my phone. So here I am.
Oh, nice background.
Now I'm going to the beach.
Surprisingly good internet for the beach.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, David, you must have you a pretty powerful computer to be able to put that background on there.
I'm just out here in my shop using my wireless, using the Wi-Fi to the house.
Oh,
Well, the ability to put on those backgrounds is dependent upon the speed of the processor that you're using and some of the other graphics features. And normally that's a pretty high end computer that's important for that. In case you're wondering if you can't hear me, I don't know if you can or not, but it says my internet connection is unstable. I live out here in the boondocks with DSL and it's not fantastic. So if I happen to have to click off, understand that's the reason why.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. The video's just freezing up from time to time, so that's good. So, I will say we had a nomination for vice president. I talked to that person and they have respectfully declined. So we are still just me, which is terrifying. If you know of anyone who may be interested, let me know or get them to let me know. But we're halfway through the year now, so I can hold out to January with no problem. Especially if we're not meeting in person. This is a whole lot less of a production than in meetings. And with the way it's looking, there's no telling when we'll be able to get back to in-person meetings. I sure wasn't expecting this level in February where everything was first announced. But
I'll tell you, as far as St. Stephen's goes, we're not back to in-person worship, and we are allowing AA meetings as long as they promise to clean up after themselves and do all the social distancing. But the bishop is not inclined at this point to allow any other meetings. So just put that in there as far as the space goes and the availability of the space.
Okay. Thank you for that. Anything else that would be of interest to the group?
I'm smoking a butt right now.
Okay, I'll be over in about 3 hours.
Oh no. You'll probably want to come tomorrow because it's going to be. I'm an hour. I'm only an hour into it. I was up late last night editing video for a church service, and didn't feel like getting
Okay.
up at the crack to get it started.
So I'll break quarantine for good barbecue.
And it's only at 66 degrees right now, as I can
Oh.
tell from my handy little lanyard.
Nice.
Yeah, it still has a ways to go.
Oh yes, yes.
You know, I've had a thought though about the VE testing, and I'm thinking that if there is anyone, any person out there that would just desperate to take a test, we could probably run a special test, not necessarily at St. Stephen's, not necessarily affiliated with this radio club, but we could offer a test. All we need is 3 examiners, and then everybody could wear gloves and everybody wears masks, and we could give a test. So if someone is hot to trot to take a test, there's no reason for them to sit around here waiting on Christmas time or New Year's or something. You know, we could go ahead and give them a test. All we need is 3 examiners, and I think I could probably come up with that. So just food for thought. If you have anyone that
Well, Charles, if I hear of anybody, I will email you. I will forward the email to you. But basically, my restrictions are based upon what my wife tells me, and she wants me to keep my butt at home unless it's absolutely necessary. And VE testing is not one of those things she considers to be absolutely necessary.
I understand, and I respect that, and I had that in mind when I was saying this. But you know, I could probably come up with a couple of other examiners, and you know, if we do it at the Waffle House, I mean, it doesn't have to be at you know, the church or anything. It can be anywhere. You know, I remember how it was when I was taking I was ready to take my test, and I didn't want to wait 6 months for you know, there to be a test session somewhere. And so, you know, to accommodate someone, if in fact that person is out there, they may not be a person in that category, but just a thought that I've had the last week or two, that maybe we could have a test regardless of the circumstances, as long as it complies with the rules and regulations, we can go for it.
Well, I've noticed that there's a number of clubs that have resumed testing, but where they've done it is areas like where we held field day up at the college. And what they do is have people at separate picnic tables out and around where it not only have the social distancing, but kept pretty well isolated to make sure the exams aren't well, anyway, you don't look over the other fellow's shoulder. So it makes it, even though it's spread out more, it's a little easier.
Yeah, Herb, you just muted yourself. Herb, you muted yourself.
Well, that'll teach me. But
Quit playing around with the buttons, Herb.
I'm not. I have my finger over the mouse pad. Anyway, excuse me. But by having at different picnic tables, the makes it a little bit easier to monitor the folks, so that nobody's looking over at the other fellow's test, and you can keep the social distancing. So that's what a lot of the other clubs are doing, I know.
Yeah,
One
Monday.
thing for Charles before I get off of it, if you decide to do something like this for a test taker, you might want to, before you commit finally to it, you might want to contact W5YI. I have not had any communication with them, so I do not know what their status is. So you might want to double check. I imagine they're probably working, but I mean, that's Texas, and Texas has also got a really bad situation right now, so who knows what's going on. So you might want to double check before you commit to doing that.
Okay, yeah, I certainly will, and I don't anticipate any problems, but I have not heard anything from you. I'm like you, from them, like you. I haven't heard a word, so.
And,
Right.
and Charles, you also have to make sure that you're using the right test. What was it? The extra change?
Yeah, the extra has recently, and I've got the latest revision, which
Yeah.
was effective July 1st, I think it was, or June the 1st. I don't know. Anyway, there's a new version that just came out, and I've got that on hand already.
I just would be worried about people painting all over that paper and not wanting to come in contact with that. But
Well, like I said, this may not ever happen, but I was just thinking
Yeah.
that there might be somebody out there that some little kid somewhere that want to go off to college and he wants to get his AM license before he goes off to college. You know, there's all kind of things can happen, and we can comply with the regulations and observe the the health rules. I think I don't think there's any big deal there. Everybody wears a mask. Mask is required at any test session that I participate in right at the moment, and even the examiners could wear gloves if that comes down to that. So, but anyway, we can set our own little rules. If W5YI is not in business, I'm in good standing with ARRL, and all it takes is a phone call, and I can get the ARRL materials in here.
Just one of the clubs up in Northwest Indiana that I follow, they had it out behind a fire station, as I said, a bunch of picnic tables. And surprisingly, I forget what the number is, but it runs in my mind, they had 18 people that showed up. So I think there is a demand, but, we like everybody is saying, we've got to keep safety in mind. And whatever organization they used, whether it was ARRL, whatever, I know they had worked very closely to make sure that all of the demands, not only of the state, but the federal guidelines and the like, were all done. So if 5YI will allow it, I'm sure they will have a very strong opinion on what guidelines we need to follow.
Yeah, and I'm completely fine. I'll have to wait till Monday, but I doubt we could get anything scheduled before then anyway. But masks and gloves, doing
And
whatever.
hand sanitizer.
That too.
That too,
That
yeah.
I live with all the time now.
Yeah.
To get some testing done.
Has anybody, Charles in particular, has anybody heard anything new on the remote testing that's being done by the Griffin Group? I know they started it pretty soon after all this stuff happened, but I haven't heard anything more recently about it. Is anybody, I figure Charles being an ARRL representative may have heard something down the grapevine on this. Anybody hear anything about it?
Well, it seems to have went rather well. They had a supervisor from ARL in attendance at that. That was not just something that somebody dreamed up on their own. They actually had a person from Newington, Connecticut in attendance, watching over the way, because that person didn't run the test, but was merely there to observe and to see how this sort of thing can occur. But I don't think all that is necessary at the present time. You know, you can do remote testing, but here we are. I mean, we're all close by, and if we have distant tables, like you said, like Herb was saying, with all the picnic tables, everybody's 6-8 feet away, and everybody's wearing a mask, and and examiners can all wear gloves, and the testing guys can even wear gloves if they choose to do so. So you can go to pretty good extremes to have things well in compliance of the CDC as well as the ARL or W5Y or whoever. So anyway, I've just put this out there, you know, just because I hate for somebody to be sitting out there and the kid's going off to college next month, and you know he wants to take his ham test before he goes off. You know, there are situations where someone might want to take a test, and I don't want them to have to wait 6 months on another test session. So you know, and I'm willing to do what it takes to comply with all the rules and everything else. Anyway, just a thought, guys. Just think about it. And if you have someone, get in contact with me, and we'll work things out, and we'll round up a couple of examiners. And like I said, we could do it at the Waffle House if we have to, or at Longhorns would be even better. Anyway, you can do all sorts of things to comply.
All right, no, put a little blurb about that in the next newsletter.
Good, thank you, Danny.
I got a question for Wayne Veal. How are things going in Sandersville with the repeaters?
Well, the repeaters are fine. I'm not on D-Star, so I can't answer the situation on D-Star. But my repeater is on the air. It's working quite well. It's at the police department, Sandersville Police Department, on the tower right behind. But it's on 145.27. It's on the air. You can key it up right now if you get on a high hill over around Milledgeville. And if you get over this way, it's full quieting. There's a little activity on there, but I emphasize very little activity. There's not a whole lot of activity. The D-Star repeater is seeing more activity than the analog repeater at the present time, and the two are separated by about a mile difference. They're both about the same height above ground. I think actually the D-Star may actually have a little better coverage than the analog does.
Wayne, if you go to the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you can unmute and you could turn your video on if you like. There you go.
Okay, I got that. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the first time I've had a microphone on this Mac. I'm actually coming to you through an Apple device today, so. But the video won't work. I reckon I exceeded the ugly amount on it, so the video just don't work.
Hey, it let me on, so it's not Zoom.
But anyway, like Charles says, yeah, the 2.7 repeater is doing good. And it does have pretty good coverage. I've talked on it from Sparta and from Milledgeville. The D-Star, I've talked on it from just about halfway between Milledgeville and Macon Mobile. Of course, I take it that the conditions were good for that. And also, we're adding a repeater. It's just a matter of getting up there to add the module. We're adding a UHF module to the D-Star repeater. I've got the coordination already. I've got everything done. I've got I'm not sure what you call the antenna, but it's a 16 element UHF, like a DB224, but it's for UHF. Oops, I muted myself. But anyway, it's I just got to get with the right parties to get up there to put the antenna and plug the module in. And so we'll have a UHF, and I'm trying to think of the frequency. I think it's 444.075, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't have the paper here with me, but so that'll be active soon.
Is that one going to be tied into 30 Bravo for Georgia statewide?
Yeah, once I get that one online, we'll probably take the C module, the VHF module, and tie it into 30 Bravo probably.
That'll be very good. Yes, folks, I'm sorry. I speak D-Star.
I will one day.
Well, it's. I will say this: it is a very interesting mode. It's lots of opportunities there. I'll put it that way. I was riding to the grocery store the other day, and I was on one Charlie reflector. It's just like a group of repeaters for those that don't talk D-Star. And anyway, I was on one Charlie. There was a fellow from Australia talking. There was a man from northern Italy talking. There was two people from Canada. There was a man vacationing somewhere in Germany, going down the road talking. So all of us were talking just like, and it was just full quiet and super clear. That's just hard to believe that we have that technology today.
Yeah, well, D-Star, DMR, and now we're getting areas of Yaesu Fusion, which have got these internet rooms, much like we've got here with Zoom. And so you can consider this a room that you can check in and you can check out. You can move back and forth and talk through. And 01 and 30 Charlie, D-Star reflectors, those are actually big rooms. And right now, actually for about the last 6 months, there have been a bunch of people who have gone out and purchased D-Star handhelds, either the Kenwood or the ICOM, and of course the ICOM base mobile stations. And 01 and 30 Charlie actually have exceeded their capacity on the internet for connections. And that's been happening on a daily basis for a while. So it's becoming much more popular. And it is, like Wayne says, a very fun mode in that you can talk all over the world through these various rooms, or as they call it, D-Star reflectors.
Daniel,
Yes.
I have two things. First of all, just to make sure, since I'm the only one getting the, at the present time, I'm the only one getting the bank statement. We have $1,004.40 in the bank account as of July the 8th. So just want to keep track of it. It's been pretty stable at this particular point. So that's the way it goes. The other thing I thought it was interesting, even though it's not ham radio, it's still radio, and it's probably important, particularly for those people that live out in the boondocks. SpaceX has already put up quite a number of their satellites in low Earth orbit to be able to provide internet capability. And I was reading about that the other day. They're actually getting to the point of wanting to do a beta testing with select individuals. So if you want to be in that beta test, you can actually go to the SpaceX site and go to that particular link. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but if you do that, they'll ask you to put in your name and address and your email address so they can contact you. But what's really interesting about this, even though I have not seen the receiver that they plan, the transponder, I guess, the on ground thing, from what I understand, they are going to probably charge around $80 or so per month for some type of service. and you would have an investment of somewhere between $100 and $300 for the actual unit itself. It was unclear if that would be there would be a lease option or not. But it's an interesting thing because they're using these low Earth orbit things. So I can't imagine that you would have, I think it uses phased array. So my guess is that they're probably going to have an antenna that's just back flat. And as the satellites come over, it'll wind up pointing to whichever one happens to be over at the same time.
That's exactly right. They're a bunch of, they're actually PC card size, and they're literally throwing them out by the thousands, and they'll be covering all over. They're relatively high speed as well. They're much faster than phone DSL, but they're not as fast as what you get with the fiber optic cable out there. So they're kind of compromised a little bit. I've seen them referred to as the speed of the old T1 lines. So that is certainly, T1 accommodated a very large business. So we're talking a fairly large amount of bandwidth and a fairly large amount of speed.
And the other thing is that's important is that the current satellite technology, they slow down. I've already talked to somebody that's used it before, and during the day, you can't do anything because that one geosynchronous satellite is trying to serve everybody in the continental United States, and everybody and his brother's trying to get on there. So if you want to wind up doing something at any reasonable speed at all with the current satellite system, you've got to go in the middle of the night to be able to do anything. The other thing is the latency. When you have to do 22,000 miles up and 22,000 miles down, another 22,000 miles up and another 22,000 miles down, then all of a sudden, all of these things where you've got websites that go do this, then go do this, then go do this, and go do this, it can take you forever to load a page because of it. But the latency on these, because it only has to go up about 300 miles or 300, 400 miles, it's a whole lot better.
On that high note, gentlemen, I'm going to check out of here. It's good to see y'all. It's hard to believe it's been so long, but I hope y'all are well. Hope you stay well, and I hope to see you next month.
By the way, there's a little bit of a problem with the ocean right over on what would be your right-hand side. I just thought, maybe you better watch out. Might be a tsunami coming in.
Take care.
That was an interesting cloud formation there on the horizon.
Yeah.
You gonna be a weather forecaster, David?
Yeah. No, anyway, I just thought it was really cool. It was so smooth out there that day. I actually took that picture off west of Panama in that 30A area. So anyway, with that, y'all take care.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And I have one other observation. I've been sitting here looking at these pictures, and I'm looking at Charles Kite, and I couldn't figure out why he looked so different. He looked different, and I'm trying to figure out what has he lost weight, or is he sick, or what is it? And it finally hit me that he shaved his beard and cut his hair.
No, I did not shave my beard. It's still trimmed, but my hair, I get a perm. I've gotten a perm ever since I was in the late 70s because I had fine hair when I was younger. And if I didn't have before then, the hair would come down and plaster my forehead. And it was just totally uncomfortable. And when that was the popular thing, I did it, and I kept on doing it all the time. But since this COVID-19 thing, I ain't going to I'm not going to a hair salon to go get a 2-hour perm. So my wife has a Flowbee, so she's been, now that it gotten longer and the perm had gone out, we wound up doing this. So, and I kind of like this better. So this is my new look.
Actually, I will say you look very handsome there, Charles. Just to gotta tell you, I like the way I like the new look.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Charles, real quick, one of the reasons why I followed that business with the SpaceX system. If you remember, my two brother-in-law's twin kids went to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, and there are a couple of hams, but they had designed the power supply controller that they're using on those modules. So I've followed that pretty close because of that personal connection.
I think the glare kept you from being able to see my
Yeah, I can
short
see it a little
beard.
bit. I can see your beard a little bit, but it's not as prominent as it used to be.
Anything else for the good of the order? All right. Well, thank everybody for being here today. I did find out that Zoom has removed the time limit on meetings due to COVID for even the free accounts. So that's how we managed to go all the way to 45 minutes. So thank everybody for being here, and I'll see y'all next month.
It's good to see y'all.
Y'all take care.
Yep. See you guys.
73, everybody.